are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hid, so let your light shine. Our light shines brightest when we have confidence, knowing that God is on our side, knowing that God is walking with us through whatever trial we're facing. This song is a testament to that assurance that comes with the presence of God. Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine. Now, we know that Jesus is not only just mine, but can be everyone's if they accept. Oh, we need to hear that, right? We need to hear that Jesus is on our side, that Jesus is with us. The story goes that when Fannie Mae Crosby, who, if you don't know that name, you probably should. She was perhaps the greatest hymn writer in America in the 19th century. More songs of hers survive today in our hymnal than perhaps any other single author. She was blind, but she didn't let that stop her from speaking the good news through song. Now, she rarely wrote the music herself, but her friends would come to her with the music already written. And so on one particular occasion, her friend comes with the music to Blessed Assurance. She didn't have a title, she didn't have a name, no lyrics, she just had the music, and said to Fannie Mae Crosby that, hey, I've written this tune. What does this hymn say? And she played it, and she turned around and said, so what do you think? What does it say? And she found Fannie Mae Crosby was on her knees and was praying. And so she played it again. And then she played it a third time. And then she stood up with a big smile on her face, and Fannie Mae Crosby says, that says, Blessed Assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine. There's something powerful about music that can speak even before it has words. And what powerful words do we hear? Another powerful thing about words of assurance, it can give us what we need to face a challenge, to face dark times, to face uncertainty. For 40 years, the Israelites had followed Moses through the wilderness, and they had had their struggles. Now remember, they were a people who for 400 years had been enslaved and not been able to worship God. They probably didn't know much about God, and so they only knew idol worship. And so they kept turning back to what they knew, to what was familiar, because for 400 years they hadn't been allowed to freely worship as their ancestors might have. And so you can cut them a little slack in this story for always turning to idols and idolatry. That was what they knew, that was what they understood. And so they're constantly getting into trouble because of it. But they had followed Moses. He had been their rock. He had been patient with them. He had lost his patience a few times, but he had been patient with them. And in Deuteronomy, we read that it comes to the end of Moses' time as a leader, and they give him an honorable burial, but there is this confusion, there's this uncertainty. Anytime there's a change in leadership, there's a lot of nervousness, right? We're about to experience a presidential election. There's a lot of nervousness in our country on both sides as to what life will be like with a new leader or the same leader in a new term. What will life be like? There's a lot of nervousness right now. So we're not unlike the Israelites. After Moses has died and there's going to be a new leader, you know what it's like when you get a new boss or something changes, it can change the whole tone of an atmosphere of your workplace, of your life. And so there's some nervousness, there's some uncertainty in the Israelites as they are facing this next phase of their journey, crossing into the promised land finally, but now Moses cannot go with them. And so the person in charge, he needed some confidence, he needed some assurance that he was the right man in charge, and so did they. They needed that assurance. And so before Moses dies, he handpicks his successor, Joshua, and he lays his hands on him. And it says that the Spirit of the Lord was upon Joshua after Moses laid his hands on him. I'm sure he had some words to say as well, some words of assurance that he's the one, that he is called to be where he is, to be in that position of leadership, and that he can do the job. We need to hear that assurance that we are following God's calling, that we are called to be where we are, that we are strong enough to handle the challenge. And so I encourage you, if you have a chance to speak those words of assurance to someone in your life, take that chance. They need it. They might not acknowledge that they need it, but oh, how they need it. And what a foretaste of the wonderful life that's waiting for them as they step into that new phase of being, that new walk of life. You could be that voice of assurance for them. That could be God speaking through you. So speak those words of assurance. Give someone confidence when they are on the edge of something new and they don't know what's going to happen. Speak those words. And if you need to hear it and someone offers you those words, let those words sink in. Take their compliment and know that God is calling you, that God is using you, that God loves you, and that you can do it. You are strong enough. And if you're not strong enough by yourself, God is right there with you, your friends, your family. They're there with you too. Lean into that. You don't have to have it all together all the time and all figured out. But you are enough. So lean into that. Take courage. Take assurance. Take some confidence knowing God is walking with you even now, even if you can't see where that next step will lead. Keep walking. Go with God, my friends.